I've been making lamps for quite some time now. This is one example of one of the lamps that I've made. Most of them are smaller. This obviously is a stand-up lamp. I wanted to try and do something similar, but not so big. Maybe 18 inches, maybe 2 feet tall. I don't know. This project is about that process, and boy, did I have trouble. I don't think I've ever had as much trouble making a lamp as I have with this. If you got any advice, I'm all ears, but stay tuned. You can see what happened and what I did wrong. Thanks for joining me. These are Babinga corners that I'm going to use. One of them needs a little bit of work. I had 3 that were perfect, so I needed to find a 4th, and I measured and made sure that they were all the length, same length, and the 4th one I had to find and remake. Now, Babinga is an extremely hard wood, and that was a huge part of the issues that I had. I'll go into that later. So this is not the right size, but it's a good example of what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this like this. This will go in between these two. It'll be 8 inches from this side to this side. So it'll be 8 inches wide. I will attach the veneer to the back side, so on the viewing side, on this side, you'll be able to see these beautiful, these are Babinga. This is really a nice wood. It'll be a nice contrast to this stuff, which will go here. Now, question is, how do I attach the piece that's going to be over here? Put it on this, I don't want to do that. So I think what I have to do is pick the side that I like the best. It's going to show the 2 sides that are going to show, and these are all pretty nice. And then route out like a little lip. So it looks pretty decent. They're all pretty good. Might need a little bit of a sand. I sanded these things really well at one time. And I never went ahead and did anything because I needed a 4th corner, which I just made. So now I can move ahead with this lamp project. I'm just going to give these another sand. Then I'll be able to make a better choice. And this one is not as thick, and it's a little bit fat. I don't think that's going to be a problem. And this has got some marks from the table saw on it, so that will be going inside. But the veneer will be covering all of that, so this one feels very good, but I'll just give it a light sand. Okay, now pick the sides that will be facing out. I think this side and this side. So I have to make a mark here for the router. And if it doesn't make sense now, it will. So that's one. And that's going to be on the inside. So this will be on the outside. This will be on the outside. So this is what will be cut. Basically taking a bit off of one corner. Okay, this one. Okay. It's just a guess. I'm just holding this pencil secure. I'm just basically making these marks so I know when I put it on the vise which corner I'm cutting off. So I'm using this 3/16 bit. I think it's a rabbit bit. It's called a rabbiting bit with bearing. So it'll bump up against this, but it'll cut out 3/16. I'll show you my guess here. If you can see that line. Line's right there, and this thing, so it's almost perfect. 3/16 of an inch I'll be taking out, and the depth of this will be set by the router, so I'll try and do 3/16 on the depth too. So I'm using this DeWalt battery powered router, and it's gonna push along this way. Okay, so let's get going with that. Okay, so I took off that corner, and the veneer will sit here, and it will sit on that. The veneer will sit on this side, and it'll sit on that side. Let me kind of show you with a piece. When I attach this, it'll go there, and it'll go there. So that's enough room. Okay, so that's one done. I'll sand these two. Make it high enough so the router bit doesn't, and this is Babinga. This is like hard as a rock, so pushing it, tightening this with metal, it's not going to be a problem because it doesn't leave any marks. You can see it left no marks on this piece. Alright, let's do that again. Okay, so see how they're all nice and even there? If I put those two together like that, and these two together like this, and I put the veneer in the middle, I'm going to put the end pieces, and I'm going to put another piece in here too, and I'll glue these into place, because the veneer is fragile, so I can't be nailing it. Anyway, this one's higher, so it's just going to stick out, and I think I need to sand this more. This is rough, and I also need to sand that side, so I'm going to do that with a hand sander now. After sanding all of the pieces and making sure that they were square, my first attempt was to try to use CA glue and an accelerator to hold them in place. And, well, you'll see. That was my first failure. So that first nail went in straight, but after that I had nothing but trouble. I don't know if you can see it, but it popped out over the edge. Now, this bubinga is very, very hard wood, as I've said earlier, and it tends to pull based on the grain, the nail one way or the other, to the right or to the left. It rarely shoots straight, and I learned this the hard way in this project. So, you know, I'm trying to pull them out, and I'm gouging up the wood, and it just turned into a nightmare. Not good. So, despite the fact that I seem to have the frames pretty decent, I now had to get this nail out, and it was not coming out. So now I got these marred pieces, you know, and this was the beginning of my real frustration. Is that good? Okay. Nail gun is great when it works, but when it doesn't, not so good. And this is the outside. So I'm going to have to fill this and try and color it this color to fix this. This should sand off. Obviously the other side's fine. I'm going to see if I can get a nail in there. Hopefully, in this side, hopefully I will without any problems. I got all the other ones in. I shot straight down, and that seemed to work pretty well. So I'll just have to fix this end, and this can sit on the bottom. This can be the top. It looks out of square. I don't know. So those nails did nothing. I'm hoping that glue will hold. So nothing was coming together right, so I just took everything apart, and I can't even get these out of here. And I typically use a pliers, wrench, channel locks like this and pull it, and it's not coming at all. That is not moving at all. And I think in part because this is bubinga, and this stuff is hard as can be. So I couldn't even nail that in right there. So what I'm going to do is cut these off, resand everything, and basically start from scratch. It's disappointing. I thought I was close to completion, but no, I'm not. And it has a lot to do with using wood that is hard. If it were pine, it would come together easy. But pine versus that, I mean, this is beautiful wood. And I've got other wood too that's like this wood. Here, this is called lace wood or leopard wood, and you can see why they call it leopard wood. But it's also extremely hard. So when you nail through it, it just, especially with a nail gun that's just pushing through it, it will go to one side or the other side, and it just doesn't work. So I'm just going to have to stick with glue of some sort and start from scratch. So the 3 pieces that I had in the center, I'm going to take those to a chop saw and make them all. I'm going to cut a little bit off of each end to get rid of the glue that's stuck there, and make them all the same length, and that should be good. So with this 4th attempt, I did my best to square everything and make sure it was all aligned, because that's obviously critical in any build, and particularly when it's small, like this. So I did my best, but you'll see it really didn't turn out square. So onward and upward. My next attempt was with hot glue, and I used this hot glue gun, which is a nice glue gun, and a special glue that would hold together. And it's holding together, but it's not square. You can see it's not flat, and even if you look at it, I mean, you might not see it in the camera, but it's not, you can't really see it there. It's not really square. Best way to show you is to put this on there. Well, actually, no, like that, so you can see how out of square it is. There's a big gapping. Yeah. So, I don't know, if I just gonna deal with this and leave it alone. And then I thought, oh, I have this thing over here that does right angles. Maybe I should have used that. A little late now. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I tried to glue in part of the inside. I used hot glue and it got in here, and then this all broke. So I needed to take it off. I got pretty frustrated with it, and I had to walk away from it because I was not having any success with this. I can't remember a project being this difficult that I've worked on. And I needed to just walk away from it, which I'm going to do for a couple of days. And sometimes that helps. Sometimes it doesn't. This is very frail. I also thought about cutting plexiglass and put it in here, and maybe put the plexiglass in and then pour a resin so it kind of locks it in place. And a resin would be pretty too, although this would have been gorgeous. Oh well. I'm going to end this video here, and maybe I'll review this and do it again. That's the second project that I've had trouble with. And I'm just posting it because I'm sure I'm not the only one that has these issues. And anybody got any ideas? That would be great. But, it's tough. I ended up knowing this babinga is extremely hard. I don't know if it had anything to do with this because this is pine. I don't think it had anything to do with it. But every time I put a nail in this, it shot to the right or to the left, and it would come out here, and then I have to dig it out. And when I dug it out, I had that problem right there, which looks terrible. So, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Stay tuned. Maybe I'll try to redo this at another time. Well, thanks for watching. I hope that you're not disappointed. I mean, anybody who's working and building, I think, has problems and, from time to time. And I think it's interesting to, see and get some advice from people. And I'm not afraid to ask for advice and help. Anybody's got any ideas, I'd love to hear it. But I'll have more videos, hopefully, that will be more successful in this one. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. It helps me immensely. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. I do a video every week. Thank you.